Artfully Askew with Deb, an artist's way of navigating life. Are you overwhelmed and trying to navigate the impossible? Dare to reach beyond your current situation to a place of quiet healing. Discover how art can shine to face life's challenges. Deb offers healing power through art. There's an energy and vibration all around us, a way to get through the pain without doing anything profound. Learn that there is beauty in the fall and the climb back up. Celebrate who you are and understand how incredible it is to let go and let in the flow of color. Artfully Askew with Deb starts now.
Hi, everyone. You're listening to Artfully Askew with Deb on Transformation Talk Radio. Thanks for joining me. I'm excited about the show today because I'm going to share with you why I paint bees. I have a special place in my heart for these little warriors. Before I start, I want to explain something to you. Last episode, I was going to speak with you about losing my sister to suicide and have a show about that. I'm going to do that, but not on this show. The anniversary date of losing her is coming up, and now it's not really the time for me to express I'm grieving her right now. So I'm going to wait to do that. Instead, I decided to paint with you today and explain to you why I paint bees. So, have you ever thought about why we do the things we do? What it is that causes us to react to the circumstances in the way that we do? Have you ever thought about what's shaped you as you navigate your life in your unique way? I know for myself, my life experiences shine through my art. Today, I'd like to share with you behind what it is and why I create the bees and how they affect my expression of them. As a child, I'd often retreat to the solitude of a field of flowers. These flowers were surrounding our home, especially during the summer. I loved it. It was a place to escape from the chaos that accompanied a home filled to capacity with children of all ages. Yeah, I grew up with 7 energetic siblings. I'd lay among the fragrant flowers, surrounded by the steady buzzing of bees, busy at work, collecting pollen. Their gentle buzzing would soothe me, bringing me to a place of calm. It was like a warm blanket surrounding me, allowing me the space to breathe. They were my friends. Anyway, what I was saying, did you know when you hear the sound of bees buzzing, the sound is actually coming from their wings? Their wings can beat 11,400 times a minute. Have you had a time when you were given news or found yourself in a circumstance that you have no idea how to navigate? Maybe it was a medical report or the loss of a loved one. Maybe your child acted out in the worst possible way, or your boss just informed you your position was no more. Or maybe it's a feeling that something's coming that you just don't know what, or you just seem to lose your place. You've lost your footing. Whatever it is, chances are you'll react by using what you've learned from past experiences. I've learned to paint it out. So in my case, it was a medical condition. It was a mystery. Doctors didn't really understand what was going on. Then nobody could quite put their finger on it. And in the meantime, I was losing strength. I'd seen plenty of doctors wondering what to do, where to go. But the tipping point was when I lost my voice. My connection with the world was narrowed. I had no way to speak what it was I needed to hear. I remember at that time what I needed people to hear. And I remember at that time having that communication with people lost and just kind of going into myself and sitting into a corner and just wondering, what's my place in the world now if I can't express myself to the people that I care about? So it caused a narrowing in my world, a place where I just couldn't communicate. But did you know that bees communicate through dance? They dance for each other so that they know where to go to gather the pollen. Dancing is the bee's voice. So losing my voice caused me to lose hope in whatever, and let go and let whatever it was that was invading my body just take over. Until I got to a place where a medical diagnosis came to me, and it really wasn't good. The diagnosis was actually pretty devastating. I was told I should probably get my affairs in order. I should probably do whatever it was I needed to do now, just in case. And they weren't really sure what to do about it. I had a choice there where I could succumb to that and just let it take me. And I'm not going to lie, there was a point where I did do that. But then I decided I was going to fight back. I decided to take the B mentality, the one where we gather our troops and we fight the fight together. So I decided the first place that I needed to go was I needed to stop fighting the things that were being done to try to help me. I looked at the medication as poison. I chose a cane to walk with. I decided I couldn't speak again. I needed to decide that this wasn't going to be the way I was going to live my life. Have you ever felt that way? Where you go into a place where it's like do or die? The feeling like you have to muster up that last bit of strength just to stand up and fight. Even if you feel there's nothing left, you have to fight that one cause. You have to find that one cause that will take you back to what is yours. The power to fight it out in whatever capacity you can, that's so important. That can be different for each of us. Our bodies may fail in the end, but they may not. One thing that's certain is if our mind and our spirit in the place of honoring who we are and the power and what we have, we can fight. And we may win. So my fight began in an explosion. Many can do what the few can't. So this painting and explosion came to me with a force of the hive. I chose people that could and would help me through whatever it was I needed at the moment. I understood that not all people could give me what I needed, but I could tap into the ones that were available. And it was okay if there were people that couldn't give me what I needed. I mean, at the time, I felt like they should have been there for me, but what were they going through in their own experiences? So I chose to go with the hive mentality, and I began to strengthen myself to claim my life back. I followed the people that were following me in it and giving me the place to fight. And then when I took one step forward, they'd give me one step more to take. This was a way to reach the goal one step at a time, and it was the work of the hive. I worked really, really hard at getting my voice back. I remember at one point my granddaughter saying to me, "You have to sing, Grandma." That was the therapy that they had given me, that I need to use my voice as much as I can, even though it felt like I couldn't. My granddaughter still says that to me to this day. When she hears my voice getting weak, her first words are, "You have to sing, Grandma." So I started the battle, and I started it with the people that were around me. I wouldn't let anyone allow me the space to say I wasn't going to succeed, and I wouldn't allow myself to have the feeling that I wasn't going to succeed. I chose the B mentality. I worked with the people around me, and we started the battle that needed to happen. When one was tired, another one would take over. This is the B mentality. Did you know that bees bathe each other and they care for each other when they're sick? Bees will change jobs as they grow, and they'll fill in for the missing roles of the people that are sick until they come back to them. That's the hive mentality. So I had to come to a place where I could step into the place of healing. I mean, really step into the place of healing. And again, I chose the B mentality. I understood the value in life's work. Bees know that honey that they tend to is important. They understand that this is their nourishment. They work together and make sacrifices to protect and grow their honey so that they have it in the times when times are thin, when they can't collect their pollen in the fall or the winter. But it's not always an easy thing to do. And it's not always an easy thing to do when you're navigating life, especially when you're sick. And we tend to get off easily, and we tend to get overwhelmed. Maybe it's, like the way that we're raising our families. Our kids are maybe not doing what it is exactly we were looking for, or, our jobs are harder, or our parents are getting older and we're trying to help them to navigate their roles in life. There's so many things that can happen. And we get overwhelmed and we forget about what it is that we're here for and what it is that we're doing. But the one thing that I learned was that bees, with their honey, they protect their gold. So the painting Covered in Gold that I created reminds me of that. Like the gold that the honey that the bees are protecting and growing and keeping. They'll go to all lengths to make sure that it's there, so that when times are rough and they don't have the pollen, the honey is there. So I realized that I needed to get into that protecting my gold mentality. And that meant that I needed to take care of myself. I needed to make sure that I was taken care of so that the hive could be taken care of, so that I could be there for others and others could be there for me. So I learned not to step into the place of apologizing or trying not to ask or whatever it was. I let the people that wanted to be there for me be there, and I asked for the things that I needed when I needed it. And I also demanded when I needed the space and the time to take care of myself. And I don't mean that in a selfish way. We all need to take time to experience what it is in our lives that we need to have for ourselves. And we're not always doing it. A lot of the time we're sacrificing. And it's not always the best thing for us, even though we feel like it is the right thing to do. I'm not saying it's not the right thing to do. I'm just saying that if we don't protect who we are in it, then it's not going to work out for us. So that brings in the star of the show, the queen bee. I painted this painting, and when I looked at the queen bee, I looked at her face in it. I didn't really plan on her face being this way. I don't know. I mean, it came out that way. And that's the beauty of intuition painting. I believe that all painting is intuition painting. We're experiencing the things around us, and we're relating to the things that are happening in the moment with us. So I decided to take the bee mentality, the queen bee mentality. Now, that didn't come out as a roar or anything like that. The queen bee is the mother of the hive. The queen bee isn't even really the protector. She supplies the eggs and she keeps the colony alive with what she provides. They can't survive without her. So she doesn't feed herself. She demands from the colony that they feed her and they take care of her. They don't have a problem with that because they understand that she is there to keep them going, and that her sole purpose is to make sure that they're okay. And the only way to make sure they're okay is for her to take care of herself in the process. So Queen Bee has a lot of wisdom. She makes sure that that the worker bees are taking care of her, feeding her, and in the process, she's providing for the hive and keeping it alive. In fact, the queen bee doesn't have the barbed stinger like most bees do. The queen bee has a stinger that doesn't have barbs. She's the only bee that can sting multiple times, but she won't do that. The only time that she will do that is when the hive is being threatened. If the hive's being threatened, then the queen bee will pull out all the forces and protect the hive. But if it's not being threatened, she doesn't worry about it. She lets the others take care of it. She takes her position as, my role is important. I need to take care of myself and do what I need to do in order to protect the hive. It seems sometimes selfish to people or to others, but it really isn't. It's a group mentality. I mean, that's what the bees in the hive is all about, right? The group mentality. They take care of the relationships, the family, they take care of everyone around them, but in the process, they're taking care of themselves. So the queen bee is twice the size of any of the other bees in the hive, but she doesn't take advantage of that. She lets the other bee workers take care of what needs to happen, and she protects herself and her vitality in knowing that she has to do that in order for the hive to survive. One other thing that you need to know about the queen bee that I found was pretty interesting is she's a picky eater. She really doesn't like honey. It's not her favorite. She spends the majority of her life in the hive. She'll never visit a flower. She'll never make honey. She doesn't really eat that much of it. Her primary diet is royal jelly, a substance secreted by worker bees. The queen bee believes in the power of insisting on what gives her health and strength. And she understands she needs both of those things, and she will not allow anyone not to give it to her. It's not selfish. If she doesn't do that, the hive doesn't survive with her. So although the bees offer me a quiet place of healing, it's a place where I would be able to go as a child, and I could just spend some time with myself and figuring out what was going on in life and all of that. And believe me, there was a lot going on in life with 7 energetic siblings, right? But they also taught me a lot about work ethics and taking care of themselves and taking care of the others around them. You'd quite often see some solitary bees, but most of the time the bees were together and they were working as one in getting what they needed for the hive and providing for them. It was a really good lesson for me as a child, and it's something that I take with me, into adulthood and into the life that I'm in now. That we need to take care of ourselves. We need to work as a community. We need to honor people in the place and the space where they are doing what they need to do. Every bee has its purpose. It has its reason for doing what it's doing, and it understands that. It doesn't worry about if the other bee is doing the work. If someone's sick or whatever, it takes over and it picks up where the other bee left off. It's always thinking about preservation, and it's always thinking about how it can help the other bees around them. That's something that I like to take with me throughout my life, is trying to think about what it is the people around me may need and what kind of shape that they are in, and in understanding where we are in that moment. I'm sorry, I'm looking to see if we need a break yet. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you about with the intuition painting. You see where I'm going with this? Starting to see some different things in here. I decided that I was going to paint thistles. And the reason that I decided to paint thistles on this show was because thistles have a thorny side to them, but they also have this incredible beauty to them. And that's a lot like bees, and it's a lot like the way that we interact with the people around us. There's always that one side to us that we're always like expressing and wanting to show to people, that good light. But life just gets a little messy sometimes, and that's okay. Sometimes we just need to express that. Sometimes we need to let people know that, hey, I'm not exactly there right now, and that's okay. So my intuition painting, quite often when I'm having a struggle with something, I'll take it into the paint studio with me, and I'll paint it out. That's kind of what I want to invite you to do, is to paint it out. When you need time to figure out what it is on your mind, what it is you're trying to face, what it is that you may be struggling to express, why not do it with a paintbrush? It worked for me. One of the things that people always have trouble with when I say these kind of things is like, I can't paint. Well, anyone can paint. anyone can do whatever it is that they choose to do with a paintbrush. It doesn't have to look like anything. It could look like the magic that you create, though, in any way that you choose that you want it to go. So, being shy about that, I really don't, it just isn't in my studio. People understand and they're there to have a good time and just kind of express whatever it is that they're feeling. There's many, many times that I've had people in my studio that have had something on their mind and they weren't quite sure what it was. And just the power of the paintbrush and the power of just a conversation. When you're creating, you start talking about things. You start noticing colors. You start noticing the things around you. All of those inhibitions kind of go away. And that's what I want to offer to you, a place where you can just create and grow, maybe figure a few things out, maybe not. And that's okay. Sorry, I'm concentrating on this. Do you see the thistles in it? So let's put in some dark spots here. So up here, I want to give it a little center. So I think that contrast is everything in art. And I think that we need to honor the thorns in this also. I hope you're okay with staying with me. Didn't take a break because we had that problem before. I want to make sure that I get the time with you to show you what it is I'm doing. So it's kind of hard for me because it's over on the side. So some of my thorns and thistles, but that's okay. It looks pretty cool if you ask me. So anyway, where were we? So one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about in my intuition painting that I was doing, this really, really cool thing happened to me. I guess before I say that, I want to say, when I started this Artfully Askew, I had decided, that everything needs to be professional. Everything needs to be good. I need to look like I know what I'm doing. And obviously I don't, right? But I do know who I am as an artist. I do know that I've helped many people in finding some of the places that they are stuck through painting. It really wasn't me, it was them. Yeah, just an avenue to bring it to them so that they can explore it themselves. But so that's my strength, and that's what I'm offering. So I'm not going to worry anymore about whether I'm doing it correctly or whether it looks professional or any of that stuff anymore. I'm just going to worry about whether, not even really worry, I'm going to think about whether I can help a few people, reach a few people, share the joy of art with them, and maybe reach a quiet place of healing with someone else. I really want to, my whole purpose in this is giving back what life has given to me. I overcame that medical issue, and part of overcoming that was finding the power of painting. There's a lot more to that story. A lot of things happened all at once, and I plan on sharing that with you as I go. But for now, that's what I want to share right now. But so one of the cool things that happened to me the other day while I was, operating in this intuition art and reaching out to people, I had a friend who, she called me and she was like, I'm doing some interior design work and I'm having the house redone. She's like, I've never done this before. I'm very excited about it. I want to honor, me in this because I've never done that before. And I want to, get some pieces in there that really resonate with me, but I'm not really seeing the vision that the designer had set out for me. And so I'm like, well, why don't we just get together on a Zoom meet? And it was kind of a whim, but I really like where it went. Why don't we just get together on a Zoom meet and see, what it is that you're seeing? Maybe we can go through the rooms and just see where you are in this. and what it is you do like and what it is you don't like. And so we did that. We got on a Zoom meet and she took me through her home, which beautiful home, by the way. And she showed me, what it was that the designer had in mind. And there were some really incredible things, but it wasn't quite fitting her personality. So it was pretty easy for me and her to go through like, well, what is it that you like about this? And what is it that you don't like about this? Before you know it, what we came to was, okay, she really wanted to have some pieces of art. She centered on the art pieces that the designer was sending. And she really wanted to have some pieces of art that honored her and who she was. So now I'm seeing the reason for this meeting, right? Because that's what I do. I reach people through art. I've always had a very strong intuitive side to me, and art has brought that out even stronger. So we went through all of these rooms, and I just started asking her, and we just had a conversation about what is it you like and what is it you don't like in these rooms. What is it that's bothering you about this or that and the other thing? Before you knew it, we had settled on, okay, the art needs to be the centerpiece, and then the rest comes into place. So that she took this back to so we talked about that. We talked about pieces that may work for her and what it is that resonates with her and what was the energy of what it was that she wanted to put into her room. She's all about memories. She's all about emotions and feelings and those sort of things. And, just making it feel very, very welcome. And she wants people to talk about the art and question it and have their own, interpretation of what it may be. And so I made a few suggestions. Before I knew it, she was making suggestions as to what it was that she might like to see in it, which I absolutely love, because that's what art is, right? It reaches the people on their level, or at least hopefully it does. And so the 3 rooms that she was renovating ended up being renovated. They're not done yet, but around the art pieces that I'm going to create for her home. These pieces are extremely personal to her. Sorry, I'm losing my color here. They're extremely personal to her, and they're based on the emotions of how she wants to feel in each certain room. So that gave her that avenue to really understand what it was she was looking for. She took this back to the interior designer, and the interior designer was like, I see you now. And before you know it, we've got a whole design going for the house. Incidentally, I'm doing this crazy piece of art for her. I think people would enjoy it. To me, it's incredible. I should have brought it with me to show you what the beginning of it was, but it's a pen and ink, so it's just black and white. This canvas is 40 by 40 large, and I'm doing it all in pen and ink. It's a huge tree, and it just has like these spiral branches on it. It's going to be an amazing, amazing piece of art. But the great thing about it is, the reason it's going to be so amazing is because it speaks to who she is in such a profound way. That's what excites me about it, is like I can reach her on a level that she didn't even see in herself for a while. After we got done with the conversation, and I was settling down, and I got this text from her, and it said, "Thank you, Deb." I'm impromptu here, but it said, "Thank you, Deb, for allowing me the space to express myself in the way that I want to express myself. No one's ever done that for me before." And that was such a profound statement to say, that we can connect with people in that way, and honor them in that way, in understanding what it is they're trying to do and how they're trying to reach people, and find a way for that to work with them. What more can we ask for? I mean, really, it's I don't know, I've said it over and over again. It's just incredible that we can do that. And that is what this is all about. That is the bee mentality. That is us connecting in a way that we can touch each other. Let's add a little brightness to this. What do you think? It's adding space for us to maybe take care of ourselves and give like that selfish moment, which isn't really selfish at all, but to say, I really would like to just take a nap today, or I really do think that I want to go out and play today rather than do this, and be okay with that. And make sure that you express to the people around you that it's important for you to be able to do that and take care of yourself, because when those people need you, you need to be there for them. I mean, we want to be, right? We want to be, but if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're not expressing ourselves or taking the time that we need for ourselves, then we're not going to be able to be there for them. So that is why I believe intuition art is so important. We can take that time to do that in this. I'm kind of demanding in that, in my own sense, with people around me, that I take the time to, get into the studio and just have some time with me. I'm going to see my friend pretty soon, and she's probably watching now. Hi, Mary Ellen. But anyway, so I'm going to see my friend pretty soon, and she understands that when I travel, I take all of my paint with me. I do all of that with me because it's just become such a part of me and how I express myself and I want to do. And people around me, initially when I started doing that, I thought they're gonna think this is a little strange, and I don't know, maybe they're gonna take my space, but they actually love giving me that space to do that because they see how important it is to me in doing that. Okay, so we've got our little abstract. I'm going to look through the camera here and see what we've got. We need to add some darker areas and some lighter areas to get this going. It's pretty wet. I hope you can see the thistles in this. It was a little more difficult to work this way. I'm going to put a little bit of some texture through here. But also, in the way that I'm expressing myself, you can see that we don't have to worry about being too picky about what we're doing. I think it's still pretty incredible. I think it's still pretty cool. And had a lot of fun doing it. I want to give it a little bit more texture. Oop, that's too dark. Here and here and here. I'm looking in the camera to see if I've got it. So in speaking about Artfully Askew and what I'm doing with this and how excited I am with it, I would love for you to get on artfullyaskew.com and look at my website. It's an amazing website, Transformation Network. It's the one that actually put it together for me. I thank them for that. I mean, they did an incredible job with it. So it's as of now, I have prints available, which I'm very, very excited about. I am limiting the prints. I'm gonna offer it in segments and in collections. So if you want to print, you can order there through the website. Just let me know. I'll have one sent out to you soon. And I have a few other projects on the go with this. I want to offer some journals, but I'm thinking that I want to offer the journals in an intuitive way. So I wouldn't mind hearing from you. If you decide, if you go on the website, you can see where my my email link is, and you can speak to me if you'd like. I'd like to offer the journals in an intuitive way because not everyone wants to paint, although I'd like to see everyone paint. I'd like to be able to offer the ability, the time to meet together via Zoom. You don't have to be in my studio. I don't have to be in your room with you. To be able to meet and just talk and learn who you are and what you're all about, and create a journal for you with some of my artwork, and have segments in it as to what is important to you. I know that for my journal, and I'm hoping by next segment that I'll have one available for you to look at. I would definitely need a place to paint. I would definitely need a place to make a list, things like that, and references. So I want something that I can take pages in and out of. I want blank pages. I want canvas pages and those sort of things. Not everybody wants that. Some people may want something for a hobby that they do, and I can make that specifically for you, and also offer the artwork that may mean something to you. If you look on my website, you'll see what artwork is available now, but I also commission. And I also create smaller pieces like this in working with you together. So that could be part of the intuition session that we do together. And learning who you are and honoring that in your space. That's also an incredible gift for someone else. I mean, imagine if you worked with someone, you could do it in two ways. You could work with me, and we could create something that meant something to the person that you care about in a really, really profound way. Or we could, you could offer this session to someone so that they could do that themselves. It's all about connecting with people, and it's all about honoring people in the space that they are, and giving them the space to express who they are, because we don't always know what that is. And creating and painting and creating and just speaking and having that conversation is what brings that out for us, and it gives us a space to do those sort of things as we grow and connect together. So I need to finish this. I think my leaves got a little out of control. I want to give them a little bit. I can't see it as well, so if I look on the screen, I can see it in a better way. All right. So, you know how we talked about the star of the show is Queen Bee, right? So let's put her here. She may need a few coats. This isn't really the queen bee, though, is it? Because the queen bee does not do this sort of thing. She stays where she needs to be to take care of her hive. Well, let's put our little worker bee over here. He can be protecting her, he or she. Collecting their pollen. They need a little darker thing here. There we go. They're pretty cute. So let's add some legs for this little guy. Some antenna. At least one anyway. The same thing here. I think I went the wrong way with that. All right, so now normally if I were doing that, I'd let it dry. I really can't because we're on this segment. So I'm going to add a little bit of whoop, I need to clean that up. A little bit more of the yellow to try to brighten that up, but it would look really, really cool. But I'm hoping that in my painting sessions with you, not only is it just fun to do, but I can show you, I mean, I'm just putting dots and those sort of things together. They don't have to be perfect, but they do have to be fun, right? I mean, that's what we're here for. So anybody can do this. And I found that working in sessions with people, when you do this, and that's another thing that you need to know, is we don't have to work single one-on-one. I can do this as groups. I've done it as groups before. It just gets a conversation going. And it can be a lot of fun as to like, oh, that doesn't really look like a bee, or that looks like this, or do you know what happened the other day? And before you know it, you've got a whole conversation going, and you're all just having a really, really good time. Talking about life, right? And how you're going to get through it. I know for me, in my own experience, when I was going through, I had a lot of, well, I talked about it at the beginning of the show. My sister had passed away and things like that. But I had a lot going on other than just my sister passing away. And I just couldn't express myself and feel safe in doing it. I felt like that expressing it was going to cause more harm than good, that it was going to take me away. And I just wasn't quite sure on how to do that in a safe way. I mean, I just picked up a paintbrush and I started painting, something that I'd never done in my life before. And before I knew it, my mind started thinking about what was happening. And that was okay. It didn't hurt as much because I had the paintbrush in between me and the canvas. And it was kind of like absorbing the emotions and the things that were going on in me in a way that I was able to maybe not process, but at least acknowledge the pain that was inside of me at the time. Creating things, art, expression, it's powerful, and it helps in an emotional state where other things can't reach you. And I know this because I've done it myself. It's something that I have done, and I've worked with others who have done it. I've worked with people that, in the same expression that I had, couldn't speak. And before they were done, they were speaking. Our minds can block things. And sometimes they just need a way to release. And that's what this is. Now, like I said, it doesn't always have to be this. It can sometimes just be a fun time. If you wanted to have a group party, if you wanted to get the kids together, do a Zoom meet, and we have a paint session, I'll send you a supply list, you gather it up, and let's have a paint session. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things to do, actually, just creating and expressing and being happy together and exploring colors and those sort of things. I can guide you a little bit into what may or may not help. And that's just what it's about, connection, right? So I'm deciding whether I want to what the rest of the story is that I want to share with you, because I don't want to give it all away in one shot. But like I said, I'm going to be explaining or sharing with you in a really personal way. I'd like to get your comments as to what it is that you would like to see in these shows, what you may have learned. I'm thinking about maybe the next show I'm going to do moons and what they mean to me. I've done some really, really powerful moon paintings. I am a believer in that the phases of the moon do affect us. And if anything, just the beauty of the moon affects us. There's so many nights where I just get up and look at the moon for no other reason than to see the beauty of it. And then I want to share those things with you. I want to show those things to you. And I want to show and share with you how you can express those sort of things too. So we have 3 minutes left. So what I'm going to say to you is, please go to artfullyaskew.com. I'd love for you to check out what it is that I have available on the site. My new bee paintings will be up there. Prints are available now. There's going to be a few other things that are coming also. I'm hoping to get some mugs available and some journals available. And I would love for you even just to email me and let me know what it is that you want in the show and as products, and what I can do to help you to express yourself through the power of art. There really is a place of quiet healing for you. Sometimes it's behind a paintbrush. Maybe we can explore that and find out. So make sure you visit artfullyaskew.com. Make sure you go to Transformation Talk Radio and look for the banners and the other amazing people that are there. I'll see you next time. We're going to visit the moon. I hope I'm going to stay true to that. In the meantime, enjoy yourself. Find a place of quiet healing. Reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to Artfully Askew with Deb, an artist's way of navigating life on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Listen or watch live every first Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Join Deb as she gives hope and shares how to navigate life's challenges by understanding how incredible it is to let go and let in the flow of color. You are not alone. Life is about connection, and art is always with us. Come as you are to a place of quiet healing. For more information about Artfully Askew with Deb and Artist's Way of Navigating Life, visit artfullyaskew.com.